This daily market update has been brought to you by Daily Wealth Report. Trading involves risk of loss and may not be suitable for you. Past performance is no guarantee or reliable indication of future results. All advice and education content is of the nature of general information only and must not in any way be construed or relied upon as legal, financial, or personal advice. Good morning, traders and investors. It's Tuesday, the 7th of August, and we've seen buyers continue the short-term rally in Europe and the US, but we've got signs of weakness coming into the markets right now, and that could lead to a shorter-term high as the markets are trying to push higher and higher on the short term. To start off, we've got the FTSE 100 index. It was up 21 points, or 0.37%, closing at 5,808. You can see a small candlestick movement there with a large shadow on the top, and that coincides with the activity that we can see from previous highs back in April and almost back into March as well. The German DAX index showed a very similar price action. It was up 53 points, or 0.7%, closing at 6,918. And on the French CAC 40, again, same story there, up 27 points, or 0.8%, closing at 3,401. So all the European indices are pushing for short-term highs. After a strong drive on Friday, there was a little bit of hesitation, just a slow winding upwards day on Monday to start the new week. Taking a look in the US, we can see that it wasn't quite the same story though for the leading US indices. The Dow Jones was up 21 points, or 0.16%, so barely moved there, closing at 13,117. So after Friday's strong drive, we've got a very small candlestick there, virtually no body at all, and a large shadow on top, which denotes a little bit of indecision from the buyers as it starts to approach the previous high point, which is around 13,300. On the Nasdaq, technology stocks were a little bit more favourable towards the buyers. It closed up 22 points, or 0.7%, closing at 2,989, and it's now just trying to push through the previous high point, which was back here on the 5th of July. So a little bit of hesitation at the end of the day as we'd seen the US markets fall off in the final half hour of trading, with some profit taking hitting the floor, and that has formed that shadow on top of the candle there. And finally, in the S&P 500 index, again, as I say, it was a very similar story across all the leading indices. It closed up 3 points, or 0.2%, at 1,394. It too is approaching its previous high points, its previous resistance between that 1410 and 1420 level there. This played around with the VIX index and did send it down to start with, but it did close up 31 cents, or just short of 2%, at $15.95. So it's attempting to hold this previous low here. This could form a double bottom pattern, but of course we need the markets to fall for this VIX index to rise. So for the time being, unless there's any sign of the sellers re-entering the markets, we would expect that the VIX is going to remain down around this level. On the ASX market for Monday, the markets had followed the activity from Friday in the US and Europe and recovered most of the losses that had occurred on Friday. In fact, we swapped Friday's activity directly for a 50-point gain. So the 50-point loss we had on Friday was completely reversed on Monday, resulting in a 50-point gain to close at 4,271 on the ASX 200. Again, we too can see this shadow on top of Monday's candle, showing that there's a little bit of hesitation around this level here. And if we take a look at that we're talking around 4,290 as the ballpark level of mild resistance. However, we do have the ASX 200 up slightly. It's up 12 points ahead of the market open. That could attempt to test those highs and continue in a short-term trend. However, in saying that, there has been some real hesitation. We can see that it's been 5 sessions so far where we've not been able to break above that 4,290, or as a nice round number, 4,300. So we need to see it punch through that for a continuation of the trend and an acceleration of that upwards trend. That's our summary for Tuesday the 7th of August. We hope that's given you a little bit of insight into what's happening in the price action, and we look forward to giving you an update again tomorrow.